They will create value and then they will make money from your product as a farmer. If you produce, you sell it to maybe canning here, how do they create value and then how do they hit the market? The question here under the business model should be, what value do we need to earn to maybe tomatoes from a certain farmer so that we can make money out of that, or we can make profit out of that? So about the enterprise model, it is holistic organization map. So under this, it will focus on entire organization structure. This one now focuses on the structure of the organization. The purpose is digital twin. So under this, the enterprise model, I can foresee a lot of youths being incorporated into the enterprise model than the business model. Here, we talk of a business model. The key thing is innovation. You have to be innovative enough for you to venture into the business model. And we have so many other segments that you need to consider. And the key takeaway home should be innovation. So we talk of innovation. So what do we alter, or what do we add to these products so that we can make profit in case it is an enterprise? Under this, we look at the difference at a glance. That is the difference between the business model and the enterprise model. So scope, business model is narrow, and the enterprise is a bit broad. But the purpose of business model is to make profit. Yeah, we just make profit and that's all. But the enterprise, the general organization of of an organization, is to provide a comprehensive blueprints for management. Then, under analogy, I want to give an example. Under business model, we have engine of a car. So we want to deal with the engine of a car. But at enterprise model, the engine of a car, we look at the entire car, the whole car. That's how is it assembled? How are these different parts assembled? You look at chassis, the engine, you look at the chassis, and then you look at the electronics. That is an example of model, an enterprise model. So a business model with a service perspective. So under this, we want to go beyond now the products. And traditional model used to focus at one-time transaction. Just one-time transaction. I will just sell you this thing and then I'll get whatever I get, that's all. But now, it has to, under the service perspective, you need to focus on the ongoing benefits. Yeah? Yeah, the benefit of whatever you are selling. And the value is experience. You need to be experienced. You need to have, to engage what you call the utility as well as the outcome. You can, the next. So now, how service perspective, how does it change the BMC? Yeah, the business model canvas. So we have a table summarizing the same. It has given the example. So for BMC value proportion, the features of a product are key. For example, what are the features that you can use now to make a DVD? And then you have to have the service perspective. I'll just use that as an example. The solution that we provide is on-demand entertainment. So you now focus on the industry of entertainment for you to be able to deal with the value proportion. Under the customer relations, product view is a single sale. You just sell that DVD once and that's all. So the entertainment, come on here, DJ Afro, I will just sell that and that's all. I will make my profit, then move on. But under service perspective, you require to make long-term partnership. Yeah. So you make, maybe if you are making a movie, Afro cinema or something, you continue producing as you make you make your profits. The key resources under BMC is physical capital. So whatever physical capital, you have the data. You have to have data. That is much more on technology. Revenue status, you one-time purchase. You buy once, spend money, that's all. But under service perspective, you have to keep on your recurring payment. I can use Safaricom. We use Safaricom to transact money, either to buy goods and something. So every time you do transaction, you have to keep on making some payment. Mapping the business model canvas. So now, this used to facilitate communication among stakeholders, can be used to identify areas of improvement and clarify how business elements interact, how they interact between different components in a business model. It as well guides the decision making. So if you have to make decision making, if you want to improve your product, if you have to involve or to bring about different stakeholders, you brainstorm and then you come up with a varied conclusion on how you can improve your product. Then There are 9 key main components of BMC. I'll just look at them very briefly. So for you to be able to construct a BMC, these are some of the things that you need to ask yourself. The first one, who do we serve? That is the customer. Then you need to ask yourself, what at the very proportion, we need to ask what we offer that customers want. What can we offer that the customers want? So in this case, you have to bring in that aspect of feedback. So whatever you are producing, you have to get feedback from your customer, so that once you go back to your industry or to the farm, you make sure that whatever you are producing aligns well with your customers' tastes. Then you have to look at the channels. Once you produce, you are producing, someone in Mogotio is producing a product that the customers are stated here. How does that thing reach here? So that's another thing. The customer relationship, how do we interact with them? So there must be interaction between the producer, that is the agripreneur, as well as the person who is producing, or the customers. So the revenue, how do we earn money? So apart from you, so once you produce in Mogotio, you have to bring it here. So by the time you will be selling, you have to do your own well-computed mathematics, so that you can even include the transport, such that you don't make losses. Then the key resources, what assets do we need? So what assets? For example, if you are producing milk in that particular area in Mogotio, you require a vehicle that you'll be using to transport, you require packaging, you require branding, you require all those things. You also require to market your product online and the like. So under that, you look at partnership. Can we partner? So if you are a small scale farmer in Mogotio producing maybe 10 liters, and Nigatoni is producing 30 liters, but they require 100 liters, can you partner? And then they will help you venture the market. And then the cost structure. What are our major expenses? So when you are doing that, what are the expenses? So you have to incur, as you will be bringing your product from your farm to this particular place, and maybe some other transaction fee if you are using digital platform to make your payment. Then we can proceed. So now here, mapping. How do we mapping BMC? How do we do the mapping? We have to do data correction. Every other time you have to gather market research. You gather the market. You see if maybe your market is, for example, right. So you have to do market survey around town, around some other cities, just to make sure that you know where you'll be taking your product. And then you have to be filling this canvas. You start with the customer segments and then the value proportion. This, I think it was mentioned by Prof somewhere. Then you have to analyze the interactions. How do the blocks influence each other? So the different blocks, that is the BMC, the customers and the like, how do they interact so that you can maximize on use of, you can maximize on profit? Then you have to identify the gaps. Are there gaps? Are there areas of improvement? Even if you are making profit, so is there something that you can do to ensure that you make much more profit the next season? So these are some of the things. Then you need to iterate and then you improve. Once you identify a gap, then you know how to overcome that gap, and then you know how you can overcome it. You can proceed. So business model ontology, meta model. These are very big terms that you need to be incorporating in your work that you'll be doing as you'll be developing these things. So now, a meta model is a model of the model. So you make sure that your model outshines the other models. You are not the first person to come up with a model. For example, we are teaching you how to make these models, but you look at Safaricom and you realize that Safaricom knew these things even before these other people knew. So what unique can you do to make sure that you outshine Safaricom if you want to maybe engage in a similar business? Then it will help to identify 4 concepts as well as the relationship and the rules describing the various business models. Then this will help to provide shared language for a clear communication and analysis. So whatever you are doing must be analyzed and you must communicate in one language if you are producing the same products as small scale farmers. So we proceed. So here is an overview or a general illustration of how a business model should be like. There must be business strategy, there must be business model, you have to have business processes model, and then you have to have information system technologies. All these, all the layers must be well aligned for you to do a BMC for a business to operate effectively. So in summary, that's all that I'll talk in that slide. Then the pillars. of the 9 blocks. Remember, we have looked at the 9 blocks. So what are the pillars? We have 4 pillars. The first pillar is a product, and the building block is value proportion. We just compare. Then the customer interface. We have to look at the customer segments. We have to look at the channels, the customers' relations. How do you relate with the customers? Then in infrastructure management under this, you have to look at the key activities. What are the key activities that you will be doing? If you have to be shipping your product from farm to maybe the market, or if some of the key activities, the key resources, what are you producing? Which one is it market if you are doing intercropping in case of farming? Which one makes much more profit, or which one does your customers prefer? Then you have to look at the key partnership. So if it is agriculture, whom can you partner with? So you can't be doing agriculture and then you go and partner maybe with, if banks are not, if you partner with banks and maybe you have enough source of capital, that might not be helpful. Maybe you can partner, you can try to partner with some other farmers, small scale farmers, large scale farmers, and the like. So financial aspect, so revenue stream and structure must also be considered as you'll be making this. Here is a circular business model. So this business model just helps us to understand the few questions that you need to ask yourself as you'll be developing this. A business model has 6 interconnected components, and each of them will help a question. As developing this, you need to ask yourself why. And why will help you answer, get what is the strategy that you require in the business model. Then how? It brings in the aspect of the processes. What is used are the resources. It will help you to gather the available resources for you to start. And then whom is the organization structure. And then which data is needed. If you require maybe to go online, you have to have engage use, you look at manpower and the like, and then how much. So how much is the capital? You want to start a business or a dairy or to market something, to package milk and the like. So how much do you have to start that business? So in this sense, you realize whatever we are doing now about the BMC, you require to understand it even before you go to the business itself. So we proceed. So here is a case study. We want us to look at, very briefly, Safaricom. Safaricom, I know everybody here uses Safaricom to transact money or to send money or to do something. So Safaricom is a revolutionary business model for financial inclusion, either saving or withdrawing and the like. And this Safaricom is an example of an innovative business model. Yeah? So let's go to the other thing, and then we want to split how Safaricom works since it started. I don't know, but I came to understand that Safaricom was started by certain students from JQuat. Yeah? JQuat. But the idea was bought by Safaricom, but they already improved that product. So now, let's look at it. So, the customer segment, Safaricom, before it started, it was trying to look at, during those early days, there are those people who already knew what a bank is, so you could transact through the banks. But there were some other people, like farmers. You just go, make a very long queue, and then you'll be given your cash, and then you go home. Those are the people who did not appreciate anything to do with banks. So Safaricom was brought up on aspect of customer segment, and it was targeting the unbanked or the underbanked population. Those people who are at home, they don't want to have anything to do with banks. And a value proportion, once you send money via Safaricom, maybe you send money. Yesterday I saw Prof sending money to someone and somebody just went. So how you are very sure that the money was safe, the transaction was safe. Yeah, it was affordable. The cost of transaction was a bit lower. It was also accessible. It's something that you can access. You are with him here. You don't have to go to the bank or to go and make some withdrawals. So just wherever you are, you just make some transactions and then you get your money. Then you can pay via mobile. You do these payments. Even the electricity bills nowadays, at your home, at your comfort, you just take your phone, you go to put, even transport. Nowadays, we are using M-Pesa to transact money. Even fare, is it? So some of the things that we are looking at. So the channel was mobile. They were targeting mobile phones because they knew. Mobile, by the time M-Pesa was starting, very few people owned mobile phones. But they had that thing in mind. They could foresee that in the nearby future, Safaricom phones will be an asset, is it? So how can we maximize that? And that's why they were targeting mobile phones. At times, they were also using vast network. at times, if maybe you are sending money in someone in abroad, you just ask, let me go to somewhere where there is internet, and then I do the transaction. So such things are some of the things that they were looking at. Then we have customer relations. Under customer relations is self-service. You don't require any customer. So for you to pay an electricity bill, do you want to be guided on how to do it? You already know it. Is a service, self-service on your phone. But in case it exits, you have to look at agents. There are several M-Pesa agents around the country. Under the revenue, look at the revenue streams. What will they gain? So they have already constructed that BMC, but what will they be gaining? So they were targeting those transaction fee. If you get so many people, those small transaction fee, you pay electricity, and at the same time I send you some token, something like that. Those transaction fee was the one that they were targeting. Either you are sending or you are withdrawing. And then the key resources was technology platform, and then the key activity managing agent network and platform, and then the key partnership was initially it was Safaricom parents, but now it has gone to banks. Nowadays, if you go to banks, even KCB is here, you see they have a counter written M-Pesa. You see? So these are some of the things that they were targeting. Even government, at times, like now, if you go to even pick your passport, they will tell you use e-citizen. So you use your phone, they will just give you a guide, and then you follow the process, and then you pay. Then, under the cost structure, technology maintenance, at times, you see them giving you some alert. They will tell you M-Pesa services will not be available from this time to that time. So they will be doing their maintenance to improve their product to make sure that the services are reaching their customers wherever they are on time. So that's an example. I just wanted to split that. At least you see an example of that. So management and enterprise. As a manager, you need to combine these two aspects. Business model, there are these two aspects, on management and on entrepreneurship. So under management, you have to, it ensures efficiency and optimizes the services that are offered. Then under entrepreneurship, you must be innovative, and then you have to adapt for the future growth. So the future is growing. Right now you are using mobile phone to do transactions. You don't know what you will be using next. Then the business model need to integrate both. That is the business, the management, and then the entrepreneurship, for them to bring the company to run today's business while building the tomorrow. So you are doing your business today, and you're also building for tomorrow. So here is another example of a sustainable business model. I'll not go through it. Once you look at it, it has so many segments that are described here. But the key thing here is to create a virtuous cycle for economic, social, and environmental value. So next. So here is now the value proportion design. This one Prof explained very well and differentiated between VPD and BMC. So this one mainly targets on customers. Who are your customers? So you create products and services that are customer centered. So customers are the one who will direct you on what to make. So under these, it will answer the question, what do customers need? So you don't work on your own mind, but you have to know what the customers need. If you are a farmer, and you have to know where you are and the location, what will I grow in this particular area? Because you can't grow groundnuts in an area that will not be, you will not get market. So you have to go with the customer's tastes. So it is a center tool. So we proceed. So now, here, the customer's profile, understanding the customer. How do you understand the customer? You can give them some tasks to do as they are trying to accomplish, to see how they will accomplish some tasks. You can give them some job. So maybe you can go, if they are, you want to be an agripreneur, you can get small-scale farmers, and then you give them some seeds, and then you tell them, can you go and grow these seeds, and then you bring the products, and then you can train them on what you expect them to do. So there are pains, difficulties, and frustrations they face. They can tell you the challenges as they are doing that. What were the challenges? What challenges did they encounter? And then you try to offer a solution. Then there must be gains. What gains did you incur, or what gains did you see in your work as you are growing? And then you have to look at the value map. The value map are the products and services. That is your solution. Then you have to look at the pain relievers. You offer the solution to the pain that they have already given you, and then you need to have gain creators. So if you know something that your farmers can do to increase their profit. You don't keep it to yourself, but you pass it over to them, and then whatever they will get, you celebrate together. This one will help to achieve fit between the two sides. So next. So here is another is an example of value proportion canvas that is in action, and this one it will help to create. It is just an example. You can create yours based on this or on a better one. So it will help to align solutions with customer needs. So your solutions, you have some solutions. Your customers have already faced some problem. They have told you the problem through feedback that we have encountered this. So you create your own loop, and then you align those problems, you find solutions to them, and then you align with the customer's needs. You are working together with your customers because this is your investment. Then, this is a tool that will ensure product and services are directly addresses what customer cares about, and you keep on improving the product. So the processes of value proportion design, they include one, the customer discovery. So once you interact very well with your customers, they will help you discover something. I can give an example here. Around June, a certain student realized there was jam when producing these exam cards. There was a student here within the university in physical science complex, computer science, who developed a method. So he would just, all the students were on how to produce these exam cards. So he had a background. So he was doing it even better than the university. So he developed a program. It was presented, Prof was looking at the project a while ago. So he developed a program, developed a barcode in that program, and then he would just give students that barcode. You scan, you get your exam card. Such kind of things were, and that program was very fast and efficient, and it served the purpose better than even what the organization had done. So, for example, this institution, if they are maybe willing, they can partner with such kind of a person, and then they try to see how they can either partner with him or they can buy that product and utilize it in future. Then the design matters. You need to brainstorm on solutions. Remember, you are working on an organization and you have so many stakeholders. Bring all of them together. We have the producers, the agripreneurs, the farmers, and many others. Bring all of them together, point out the problem, and then you try to look at the solution. Then you have to look at the testing and validation. Use prototypes where possible. And then you can do the testing. If you want maybe to introduce, if you have gotten a solution on maybe a certain disease that is attacking some plants, so you can do a trial and error. What those guys in AgroPack were doing, they had some samples, so they will go to the farm, they will do trial and error, and then they will report that to farmers. So then we have refinement. Well, we have, okay. So here, yeah. So refinement iterates based on feedback. So feedback is very crucial as you'll be doing these things. So your customers and feedbacks are two crucial things that you cannot run from. Then let's move. So market and configurations. Under market, we have the actors. The actors mainly represents the producers. If it is farming, they are the farmers. Then the value creators helps to create value proportion for all businesses. We have the resources, which includes the capital. Capital is one of the resources that you require for you to develop this and succeed in business. We have expertise, and then that are mobilized. Then we have institution. You need to create some rules. If you are working as small-scale farmers in a cooperative, you require to develop some rules that the farmers or the other small-scale farmers cannot violate. And then the business model design is a tool for both adopting and actively shaping these market configurations. Next. So here is a cycle of a business model failure. So it can as well fail. You can start a business model and then it will fail. So here is an example of it. So a defect business model, if it is bad, if you form a very bad business model, if you design a very bad model that you don't want to involve the stakeholders and your customers, you are likely to end up having a default business model. This can trap your business in cycles and it will prevent you from growing. Sasa? Yes. So value proportion and service innovation. So under this, we are still answering the same questions that we are answering there. So what? How? What is the value? How is the value? How can we achieve that? Those are the resources. So value is what is distinct benefit and the solution offered. So the service innovation is how. So we want to offer this service. We want to offer banking services like Safaricom. So how do we go about that? So you target mobile phones. And if you are very careful enough, you realize even Safaricom, once they knew that they want to use mobile gadgets, what happens? They even started selling them at cheaper price. But they could only use Safaricom lines, not any other line, if you are very keen. So they were targeting, they had already prepared their business model a while ago and knew how to use it. So now, we look at the business model design. It is a framework that connects them, ensuring value proportion remains dynamic and relevant throughout the innovation. So these are innovations you have to keep on updating. You have to keep on doing a lot of benchmarking and the like for you to be able to proceed. So small scale farmers, poverty trap. So here is a trap and is an innovation on how if a small scale farmer's poverty trap designed in form of a diagram, and under this you realize if you form a negative feedback loop. So how do you get feedback from your customers? If you form a very bad feedback loop specific to small scale farmers, you end up doing this. You end up having low productivity. You end up having the knowledge on the market will be minimal. You will not have that knowledge. Then you have make low profits, and then you go back to raw productivity, and then maybe if it's business, you end up having a corrupt business, and then you start blaming that businesses are not good. Then you need to have an innovative business model which is needed to break this cycle, that cycle. So we proceed. So community-based agro food hub. So is a central platform that connects farmers and consumers in a localized food system. And then we have the core functions. One is to support production. Pili is aggregation and value addition. Yatatu is access and distribution, which is direct sales. So you can produce some, once you produce, if it's your potatoes, you can have direct sale before you go to either the e-market and the like. Then knowledge and capacity building. You need to have a lot of training. How do we do the planting? How do we get new seeds? How do we breed these things? How do we control the diseases and the like? Then we have agro-food hub model. This one here. It is used now to connect farmers to consumers direct. So you are farming. How is it connecting you to your consumers direct? And under this, the hub acts as a central point for aggregation, processing, and branding. So under this, at this point, you have to do your branding. So it is acting as a central point. So you use that model, you can develop a better one. This is just an example that we have used. We have given you the reference where it was given. It helps to create, it creates a shorter and more efficient supply chain. So it will ensure once you produce your product from wherever you will be producing them, before they get to the market, that time span is too short and your products will get to the market. So next, EMC. This is an example. So you can start, you can see somebody, this is a work study, you can do this as an activity, you can do a happy hens egg. So this is a title, we have just proposed a title of, if you have that title, happy hens eggs, can you be able now to use that and develop a business model, yeah? So you can try to look at this, you have the facilitator, you have what is required, the value proportion, you can try to look at that, the customer segments, and then you explain, then you develop. Considering all the points that we have looked at, this exercise will help transform abstract concepts into concrete, actionable business plan. Next, I think I'm done.